Hey guys, welcome to my channel. My name is Yazz'n and you're watching Yazz'n It Up. And today I tested out some new makeup. This is not necessarily new on the market. These are just new to me. I haven't quite yet tested out these products that I've had in my collection or that I recently hauled. So they have been out for a while, but I'm very excited to test these guys out. So this is the look that I created today. I definitely have some hits and some misses. So if you guys are interested in seeing what I tested out today, just keep on watching. Alrighty, so I have you guys zoomed in for now so we can go ahead and do the eyes. So I already primed my eyelids and I set them with a matte base. So two palettes that I'm going to be dipping in today. This one I'm so excited to try. This is the Anastasia Riviera palette and this one has been out for a while. I actually picked this one up at TJ Maxx, maybe for like $24, and it is just a beautiful, colorful eyeshadow palette and I'm so excited to dip into this. And then to pair it with that, I also have an affordable palette here. This is from Juvia's Place. This is the Masquerade Mini. Here's what the front looks like, and then here's what she looks like when you open her up. So you have some neutrals over here and then some brights on the top couple rows. So I'm going to be dipping into both of these palettes. So I'm not quite sure what kind of look we're going to go for, but I know it's going to be colorful. So comment down below if you have used any of these two palettes. I have been wanting these for a hot minute and I'm so excited that I was able to finally pick these guys up. I'm thinking we're going to go ahead and start with the Riviera palette. So I'm going to go ahead and take a fluffy brush and I'm going to start in my crease. And I'm just going to take this shade right here. It's called Monte Carlo. And I'm going to blend that through my crease first. And I have tried Anastasia palettes before. This is not my first one. So I already know that the formula is pretty good. But the Juvia's Place formula, I actually have not tried yet. So I'm super excited to see how that performs. I have a couple palettes that I picked up from Ulta, but I just haven't had a chance to dig into them yet. And these bright shades from Anastasia, they're super pigmented, but you definitely have to work a little bit harder to blend these guys out. The warmer tones that I have in like the Modern Renaissance palette, those ones blend out like a dream. All right, so now that I have that blended out in my crease, I'm going onto the shade right next to it, this brighter pink shade in Bahamas, and I'm going to start that on the outer corner. And this is having a little bit of kickback as well, which I'm used to in the Anastasia palettes. Oh wow, that's super pigmented. The Modern Renaissance and the Subculture one that I have, they have a lot of kickback too, so it's no surprise. It doesn't really bother me. And I'm just going to start packing that in the outer corner, but not going completely over here, because I'm going to put a purpley shade over here. Now going into the Mini Masquerade, I'm going to take this purple shade and I'm going to blend that on the outer part right here. And I'm just going to be dipping back into the bright pink from the Modern Renaissance and the purple shade, and I'm going to be marrying them two together so they're very well blended out. This purple shade is like not showing up at all. All the fallout is falling right here, and I feel like there's barely anything on my eye. Yeah, this isn't even working out. I mean, it just looks like a light plum shade. Like I was hoping for like a vibrant purple. I don't know how I feel about this matte and this Masquerade palette. So I'm just gonna go ahead and dip back into the Anastasia palette and go in with this purple shade here. And this is in the shade Canes, and we're gonna see how that works compared to the Juvia's Place one. Oh yeah, for sure. This one is definitely a lot more pigmented. The thing is about the Juvia's Place ones, I heard that their shimmer and metallic shades are wonderful, but that one was a matte one. So maybe that's why it's not showing up as the way I want it to. I'll have to keep working with it and with the formula. Maybe it's just that one shade in the palette. So yeah, I like that way better. So I have that purple going on, and then I'm gonna go in with that bright pink again and just overlap these two so they look seamless together. Okay, so now I have the purple and the pink, and as you can see I have a lot of fallout. So honestly, I'm just gonna stick to using the Riviera palette. I'm gonna try and test this one out another day, because like I said, I heard the shimmers are fantastic in here. I haven't heard too much about the mattes, but I'm just gonna test this one on another day, and I'm just gonna stick to the Riviera palette for today. So I'm just gonna go ahead and wipe that fallout. And like I said, I used Anastasia before, but I haven't yet tried this Riviera palette, and I got it from TJ Maxx. All right, so far so good. This Riviera palette is awesome. I had no doubts about it. I knew it was going to be fantastic, and I absolutely love all the brights and the colorful shadows we get in here. So I'm gonna go ahead and finish up this look. I think I'm gonna go ahead and with this yellow gold here. This is in the shade Inheritance, and I'm gonna put that in front of the pink, and I'm just gonna go ahead and use my finger and just dipping into this just now. This is so soft, and look at that. That's crazy. I barely, and the camera isn't even doing it justice. I barely tapped into it and tapped on my eye, and it is just popping. Wow, that is beautiful. Should probably use a brush to be more precise, but that's okay. So I'm just gonna pack this on, and then I'm just gonna go in with the brush that I use for the pink with no product on it and just melt it together. And I'm sorry if the lighting is going in and out. I'm sitting in front of my window and the sun is just getting covered by clouds like every other second. So there's what we got so far. I'm gonna go ahead and finish this eye and put on my wings, and I will be right back. Okay, so I just applied my wings on, and I didn't have a new eyeliner to test out, so I just used an oldie but a goodie. This is the Wet n Wild Mega Liner, and I use mine in the shade black. But I do have a new mascara to test out. You can get this at the drugstore. I've seen this brand sold at Target, but you can also get it at Ulta. And this one obviously is not new at all. I'm sure you've heard a lot of talk about this on YouTube. This is the Essence Lash Princess Mascara, and this is with the green bottle. I know they also have a purple and a pink one. I'm not sure what the differences are, but I went ahead and picked this up. It was like $4.99. So I'm gonna go ahead and test this out. Overall, just to wrap up this new product that I tested out, absolutely love Anastasia shadows, but as you can see on my eyes, it performs very well. I preferred it over, like, I preferred the purple one over the one in the Masquerade palette, but I will be testing out that Masquerade palette eventually. I'll probably put it in an everyday makeup drawer, but I love the way the eyeshadow came out. I have the gradient of the yellow, pink, and the purple. It reminds me of a little sunrise moment. So I definitely give this one 5 stars. I'm excited to have this in my collection and to keep playing with it. So now let's move into the mascara. So this is a very long brush. Like, the bristles in here are super long, and it's kind of a drier formula. But as I'm starting to build this up, it is definitely giving me longer eyelashes, which I love. Not too voluminous, but just lengthening for sure. So I'm gonna zoom y'all out, and we're gonna go ahead and start on the face. So like I said, I do have a mix of high-end, affordable, and drugstore options. So I do have a higher end product. This is from Boscia. This is their Perfecting White Charcoal Mattifying Treatment Primer. I actually picked this up at Ross not too long ago. So let's go ahead and test this out. This is 1.35 fluid ounces. And this is what the consistency looks like. And it smells like moisturizer. It smells good. Doesn't smell horrible, and the scent is not too strong. It's not a thick primer. It's very like watery almost. And I have oily skin and very large pores, so hopefully this will mattify and fill in my pores as well. And when I'm rubbing it in, it's starting to get tacky and like sticky. So I think that'll be good to help it stick to the foundation. It's smooth, but I didn't necessarily see it fill in my pores completely. We'll just keep seeing after I put the foundation on. But so far so good. I like the sticky feeling that it's giving me, and it smoothed my skin out. So, and this says you can apply 1 to 2 pumps onto clean, moisturized skin. You can use this before and after makeup. You can use it to prime or to mattify your face. I don't think I would ever put this on top of my foundation, on top of all my makeup that I just did. I would definitely only use this as a primer. So I actually have 2 options for foundations today, both of them high-end as well. I have the Ofra Absolute Cover Foundation. I actually hauled this not too long ago. And I also have a Becca Ultimate Coverage 24-Hour Foundation, which I found at TJ Maxx, and I actually heard that this was not very good. So I'm kind of on the fence about this one, whether I want to test it out or not. I mean, I already purchased it, so obviously I will test it out, but I think today on camera I want to test this Ofra one because I've heard fantastic things about this. I'm just gonna do a couple pumps on the back of my hand, and the shade is way too light for me. Here's what it looks like. As you can see, it's pretty liquidy and watery. So I'm just gonna end up mixing both of these foundations together because the Becca one is a little bit darker. So we'll be able to test out both of these foundations today. And this one is definitely a little bit thicker than the Ofra one. I don't know if you guys will be able to see it right there. It's a little bit chunkier. And now that the primer has been sitting on my face, it made my forehead like super tight. Definitely mattified. So I'm actually going in with a new sponge to put on these new foundations. And this is the Jeffree and Morphe. These are the beauty sponges. I have the large one, and I have already dampened my sponge. So I'm gonna go ahead and blend these 2 foundations together and apply them. Yeah, that's very light. That's okay, we're not going anywhere today. Now it's going to be kind of hard for me to tell what each one is doing because I have to test these out separately. So I'm not quite sure like if I have terrible like side effects to this, like if it starts breaking up on my skin or if it doesn't last throughout the day. I'm not going to be sure which one it is because I mix both of these together. But so far I have a pretty full coverage. Obviously it's not my color shade, but we'll make it work and we'll blend it out. And it definitely is cakey. Like you can tell you have a full face of makeup on, which some people don't like. They like full coverage, but they want it to look natural, or they don't want to have to feel like they're wearing a full coverage foundation, and this is not the case. Like I can feel myself putting this on and it's pretty cakey, to be honest. And I want to say it's from the Becca one because that one came out very thick. Probably the Ophir one will be good for me during the winter because I won't have a tan and that one's a little bit lighter. But I'm loving the full coverage it gives. I just don't like the cakiness. And in some areas it's very patchy, and even in the camera it's kind of like yellow toned. Like you can see well, I can see the difference in the camera between where I put my foundation and like where my skin is. I don't know, I'm not liking this combination so far. Okay, so I have my foundation blended in as best as I can. Verdict on the combination together as a whole: I do not like these two together. I can see a lot of patchiness on my skin. I can see the difference between my skin and where I put foundation, but that's just because of a color issue. I think this one will be good for me during the winter time, and this one I could probably start testing out by itself now because I think this is pretty much my color. But both of these together, very patchy, full coverage, but didn't cover everything that I wanted it to. It just feels like cakey on the skin, and I don't know how long this is gonna last, but we shall see. So now regarding the new sponge that I tested out, obviously this isn't new. The Morphe and the Jeffree Star collaboration has been out for a while. I think they actually discontinued it because I got this like 50% off. It was at a good price, and I've tried the red one before, the Morphe sponge, and that one is a lot softer than this one. I don't know what the difference is on how they made this. I don't know if it's because this one was pink and the original one is red, but this one is a lot harder and it did not grow as much as the red one. So obviously I'm going to continue to use this sponge. Like I'm not going to just throw it away. I'll continue using it until it has all the rips and tears in it, and I've given it a lot of love, but it's not my favorite sponge so far. So now I'm going to go ahead and test out a new concealer. This brand you can actually pick up at CVS. This is the Joa brand, and this is the all brushed up creamy concealer, and it's inspired by a K-beauty brand. Korean makeup and skincare is like amazing, especially like their skincare, like the masks. So I'm super excited to test this out. It has a brush tip and it's a squeezy tube. Just gonna lightly apply this. It's super liquidy, nice and cooling and light. All right, so that's all the concealer I'm gonna put on. It doesn't have a scent to it. I always smell I literally smell everything. And I'm gonna go ahead and with the Morphe sponge and just blend this out. This is medium coverage, and it really brightened up my under eye for sure. I think I'm gonna end up liking this concealer because I don't like a full coverage where it makes my under eye super crepey. I just like it to brighten up underneath my under eye and just give me a little bit of coverage. Some people want that full coverage like a Tarte Shape Tape will give you, but I don't necessarily need that for my under eye because I don't have super dark under eye circles. But I like this concealer so far. I mean, it really brightened up and it gave me a little bit of coverage. I'm digging it. And this one I think was like $3 or $4, like maybe even $3. And like I said, you can get that at CVS. I don't know where else Joa is sold, but I picked mine up at the drugstore. Alrighty, so far so good. So next I'm gonna go ahead and with my powder. So this one you can pick up literally anywhere. This is the Wet n Wild Photo Focus Translucent Powder. This thing is gigantic. This is 20 grams. I feel like this is the size of the Coty Airspun. Like this is literally gigantic. I also picked this up at CVS when I picked up the Joa concealer, but you can get Wet n Wild literally anywhere at Walmart, Target, Ulta, literally anywhere. So I'm just gonna go ahead and dip some in the cap here. And I'm going to be taking a Wet n Wild brush as well and just covering my entire face with this. And I'm gonna start with my under eyes. Yeah, I think I'm gonna like this powder. It literally just like mattified everything where I just pressed it and even filled in some of my pores. Like it definitely smoothed the skin out. That's crazy. And this thing I want to say was like $6. Wet n Wild is so affordable, it's ridiculous. And they be putting out some really great things. So it definitely leaves like a powdery feel. Like I can see that I have powder all over my face. I don't know if you guys can tell on camera, but I will be dousing my face in some setting spray later on. So hopefully it'll just melt all the powder together. And as I'm putting this powder on, and I'm like swiping and I'm dabbing, but it's starting to separate my foundation on my chin. Like I'm starting to see redness peek through. and it's not a cute look at all. So I think it's a foundation problem, or it could be a primer problem, but I am not going anywhere after this, so it's okay. This is why we're testing out new makeup, just in case you guys were looking at some of these products or you were looking to try out something new that's been on the market for a while. I'm here to test out new makeup to me, but it's not new on the market. So this Wet n Wild powder I think I'm definitely gonna like. It has a lot of product in it, 20 grams of powder, and you can use it to set your entire face, and it even smooths out some of your skin. It definitely looks powdery, so hopefully when I put on the setting spray, it'll melt all together. That's gonna be it for the powder, and I literally look like a ghost on camera. I need to put on some eyebrows, so let's move on to eyebrows. So my new eyebrow product that I haven't tested out yet, this is the LA Girl Brow Pomade. It says smudge proof and water resistant. This is a long lasting gel formula, and I got mine in the shade dark brown. So here's what the packaging looks like, and to be honest, I haven't used a brow pomade like ever. I usually use pencils, or I do a powder and I mix it in with some wax. Just one thing that I don't like about this gigantic box just held this little thing here. So I feel like they definitely could have saved some cardboard and done smaller packaging for this, because this is the only thing that was in here. Okay, I'm sorry if the angle changed. I had to switch out my camera battery. So like I said, I'm gonna be going ahead and going in with the new brow pomade. So let me go ahead and grab an angled brush, and I'm gonna dip into this. It's very smooth and creamy, so that's good. And I'm barely touching my face, and it's very pigmented and it's very creamy. I mean, so far so good. This is awesome. And I think this was like $3.99 maybe. The only thing with a brow pomade is you only get one color. So what I tend to do is I do a darker shade on the outer part and I do a lighter shade in the beginning. I have an eyebrow tutorial out if you guys want to check that out. I'll leave that in the eye above. So basically I have a lighter like eyeshadow shade that I use in the beginning, but because I have this brow pomade, it's only one shade. So I don't know if when people use brow pomades, do they usually get two shades and they use one from this half and then one for that half, or they just use a lighter hand? So I'm just gonna go in with a lighter hand and do the front part of it then. Okay, awesome. I think that's what we're gonna go with. So far so good. The dark brown is definitely not matching my hair color. Like my hair is pretty much black, and this is truly a dark brown. So they might have a shade in black, I'm not quite sure, but I picked up the dark brown shade. So I'm gonna go ahead and do my other eyebrow. But overall, I like this pomade very much. It's very creamy and pigmented, so I give this a 5-star as well. All right, so now I have both of my eyebrows done. They're not completely even, but that's okay. So next product that I'm going to be testing out is bronzer, and I've actually had this in my collection for a very long time, but I want to say I only used it like once. So this is the LA Colors. So there's LA Girl and there's LA Colors. They're sister brands, and this is from LA Colors, and I have this in my collection and I think I used it twice and that was it. So I don't have a definite opinion on this. I'm going in for the bronzer shades. The blushes I've definitely used a couple more times than I did the bronzers, and those ones are pretty good. So I'm going in with a bronzer brush and I'm gonna hit my cheekbones, and it blends out really, really well. And it's very pigmented too. Yeah, I like this bronzer. I just don't like how big this palette is. It comes with the 4 like under eye setting powders, and then it comes with the 2 blushes and like 3 bronzers. So I just wish they had different palettes, like 1 blush, 1 highlighter, 1 bronzer kind of palette. And the highlighters in here are just to highlight your under eyes. They're not like cheek like beaming highlight. So I don't really use under eye setting powders. I just, like you guys saw, I just use translucent powder all over my face. So there's a couple shades in this palette that I won't be using, but the bronzer shades are pretty good, very pigmented. They blend out really, really well too. And honestly, I totally forgot I had this palette in my collection. So we're just gonna say it's a new product to me since I totally forgot about it. So I'm super happy about that, satisfied with the bronzer. So before I do the setting spray part, I want to go ahead and put on some blush. This is an affordable brand. This is BH Cosmetics, and this is the Vanilla Peach Truffle Blush Palette. BH Cosmetics you can pick up at Ulta, or you can go on their website online, and their stuff is very, very affordable. So this even comes with a mirror, and it has 4 blushes in it. And it literally smells like candy. It smells like vanilla peach. It smells awesome. They have several shades and like palettes like this. They're like vanilla peach, vanilla cherry, vanilla whatever, and it's like lighter to darker. So I think this is the medium one. So let's see how this formula works out for me. And I love the tones in here. Like they're beautiful. So I think I'm gonna go on with this one right here. Has a little bit of shimmer in it, which I'm pretty excited about. I like a little sheen in my blush, so I'm gonna tap into that one. And you can mix and match blushes in here because you get get 4 of them. Oh my god, it smells so good. You guys can't see anything? I can't see anything. Okay, I'm gonna go ahead and mix a bunch of these colors. I'm gonna mix all these colors together now. Okay, now we got some color going on. Someone has pigment here. And just gonna blend them all together and just keep dabbing them on my face. And this blush palette has a lot of fallout in it. It is very, very powdery right now as I'm dabbing into some of these shades. So one of them has pigment. I love the way it smells. You definitely can build it up. You have to build it up, actually. It's very light in pigment, and some people like that because if it's super, super pigmented and you go very hard, it's very hard to blend out. So better to build it up than to have to blend something out and it not come out the way you like it. So I'm gonna go ahead and douse my face in the new spray that I'm gonna be trying out. This is the Jeffree Star and the Morphe Set and Refresh Mist. This is the Starberry scent. Like I said, this collab has been out for a while and I'm thinking it's just being discontinued because I got this at like 50% off. I want to say I paid like 11 or 9 bucks for this, something like that. And I hauled this as well. So I'm going to leave the haul that I got this in the eye above, and I sprayed it and it smells delicious. It is a Starberry scent. So I'm so excited. And this is actually the first mist that I got. You know, the Morphe Continuous Setting Mist. I have not purchased the original one because I think it's like $16, but I did buy this one because it was on sale. So I'm excited to test out the formula, this one specifically, and just to see how I like the mist of this. This literally smells like candy. Okay, couple of thoughts. I can see, oh my god, I can taste it. Oh my god, it tastes like candy. I love that. I probably shouldn't be eating that, but I opened my mouth and there's some in the air. Don't judge me. Tastes like candy, smells like candy. It feels really, really good. But I can see people using a lot of that, like using this bottle within a month because it is so fine. I feel like there's nothing on my face. When I drench my face, I want to feel it on my face. I literally felt like it did nothing. Like my shirt is wet, like I can feel it, but I feel like it literally did nothing on my face. And I can still see the powdery look all over my face that I have. So I don't know how I feel about this quite yet, but I also don't want to just keep going and use the entire bottle in one setting, you know what I mean? So I need to keep testing that out because I want to keep moving on and I want to get rid of this powdery look. I'm going to go in with the tried and true. This is the Ofra Makeup Fixer, and this is light mist. It is not a light mist. It holds blush, eyeshadows, foundation, and concealers. I've had this for a very long time. I want to say I'm halfway done with this bottle. It has lasted me forever. It melts my powders in, so this is not new, but let's keep moving on. All I have left is lips, and I have a highlighter. So the highlighter I have is an affordable option. This is from iHeart Revolution. You can pick this up at Ulta. This is the Chocolate Elixir Glow. So packaging is super, super cute, first of all. Here's what the inside looks like. Super frosty, super glowy. So I'm gonna go ahead in with my highlighter brush and let's see how poppin' these are. I'm just gonna mix both of these together. Powdery for sure. And maybe I should have done this when my face was wet, but it's kind of chalky. But it looks okay on camera, but in the mirror it's a little patchy and chalky, and that could just be the base as well. I think this highlighter will be good. Like I said, I think it's a base problem, especially when I have my face wet. I think that'll be very helpful as well. So it's okay. I'm gonna give this 2 stars for now. I have to keep testing this out, and I'm gonna use this for a little inner corner highlight as well. I'm just gonna take my ring finger and dip it into the lighter shade and put this in my inner corner. That looks really nice. This is a great inner corner highlight for sure. It makes my eyes just pop and it makes it bright. All right, last but not least, I have some lip products to try out. The first one I have here is from ColourPop. I have tested this formula before. This is just a newer shade to me. This is the ColourPop Lippy Sticks, and I got mine in the shade Parker, and it's a matte shade. And the gloss I actually found in my collection. This is the Buxom lip gloss, and I have mine in the shade Amy. So I've had this for a very long time. I completely forgot I even had this, so I'm gonna go ahead and test this out. From what I do remember, it definitely had some glittering gleam to it, and it had like a plumping minty effect. So I'm gonna go ahead and go in with the ColourPop one first. And I wanted to go with a nude shade because I have such a bright eye color. I absolutely love the lippy stick formula. It is so creamy and smooth. And now I'm gonna go ahead and top this off with the Buxom lip gloss. Yep, definitely glitter and gleam. And I can already feel it tingling on my lips. Just what I remember. So I forgot I had it, but I actually remembered the formula. I could definitely start feeling it tingle on my lips, which it doesn't feel, it's not painful. It's like a tingly sensation. So now that I have all my products tested out, let me go ahead and review which ones I like and which ones I did not like. Okay, so one hit and one miss from the eyes. Obviously, this one, just the one shade I tried, the purple one in Zobo, is gonna be a miss for me. I'm not saying the whole palette is a miss, but this guy right here isn't as pigmented as I thought it was gonna be. I'm very excited to test out the rest of the palette. I did an eyeshadow palette collection and I swatched some of the Juvia's Place eyeshadows and they were ridiculously pigmented and awesome. So I need to test this out by itself, but obviously I fell in love with this Riviera palette. I love the packaging on it. It is so pretty, and all of these colorful shimmer shades are awesome. So I absolutely love this guy. Next one, I want to say this is gonna be like a 3 or 4 star for me. I love the way it set my face. It definitely smoothed out some areas, and I think it'll be good especially for the summertime. But like I said, we had a base problem today, so I'm not quite sure what happened. So I want to give this guy a 3 or 4 stars today. The LA Girl Brow Pomade, I want to say, is about a 3 star. I like the way it performed. Super creamy and pigmented, and you just have to go a little bit lighter in the beginning to make it look a little bit more natural. So this one was very good as well. The Jeffree Star Sponge, I'm not too impressed with. It was a little bit hard. I will continue to use this, but it is not my favorite sponge that I've tried. Elf ones and L'Oreal ones, like I said in the video, have definitely worked a little bit better. These foundations, I cannot keep repeating myself. We had a foundation problem. I want to say it's this Becca one. Like I said, I've heard people on YouTube say that this was no bueno, and I've heard great things about this one. So I need to test these two out separately. So hopefully the Ophir one will work out for me, and then this one I don't have too high hopes for. If it works out for me, if I find a way to work this in, A+ for me. It's just going to be a bonus. The Boscia primer, definitely mattified. I could feel it tightening on my skin. This also could have been why my skin was so patchy. I'm not quite sure. I'm gonna have to test this out with a foundation that I know how it performs. That way I know if my foundation problem, like my base problem that I'm having today, if it's due to this. The Joa concealer, I want to give 4 stars to. This was awesome, super creamy, definitely lightened up, and it did blend out fairly well. So far so good on this. The setting spray I wasn't too impressed with. I feel like it needs to hit harder on the spray. Some people like a very light mist, so if you're into that, then I would definitely recommend this. I love the smell and the taste on this, so I have to keep testing this out to see how it works out for me. I absolutely love both of these products. The ColourPop one, I absolutely love the lippy stick formula, and I still feel the tingling from the Buxom one. So I love both of these items very much. I would highly recommend these. The blush that we tested out today from BH Cosmetics wasn't as pigmented as I thought it was going to be. Very buildable, but I love the way this smells, and super affordable. The highlighter from I Heart Revolution, I think I just have to test it out on its own to see how well it performs. I mean, it's pretty gleamy and shimmery, and it worked amazing as an inner corner highlight, but because we had a base problem, I think it got in the way from this highlighter's full potential. So we have to test this out a little bit later on. The mascara I absolutely love. I can see why everyone raves about this. I love the lengthening that it gave me. And last but not least, the new product we tested out was the LA Colors contour palette. Like I said, I just wish the packaging was a little bit smaller. The bronzers was very pigmented, and I like the way it came out. So we definitely had some hits and misses going on, but I wanted to do this video because just in case you guys were looking for some new products to test out, or you were wondering yourself how these products perform, I just tested some of these guys out for you. If you guys like this video, make sure you give it a thumbs up and subscribe to my channel. I love doing makeup tutorials and testing out new makeup and playing with old makeup that I have. Don't forget to follow me on my social media. It is always listed down below for y'all, and I hope you guys have a great day.